welcome everybody. Episode 4 of the Wide 80 podcast. As always, we got the same group here to my left. 2023 fantasy baseball champion. He's done every draft, every which away. He knows who he's taking in the 20th round before you even open the app. We got Chandler.
I kind of do, though.
And underneath me, we got looking like a miniature, slap it to a Slim Jim, the golf rooster. We have short stuff golf, Colby. He's just here existing in the best form possible.
You got that right, baby. Come on.
Y'all unlocked his true self. This is
Before we get super into it, I want to do a little plug. Make sure whoever's listening, make sure you follow the TikTok. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and subscribe Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. We're everywhere. Wide 80 Podcasts. Search it. We're there. We're putting this stuff out. We got clips coming out on TikTok and YouTube almost daily. The only time I don't put up a clip is when we're recording the big episode, which is where we get our content. So it's been a fun week. Last episode was definitely one to remember. We talked about some good stuff. Obviously, football is out of the way with the Super Bowl concluding. We're kind of already getting into the off season. Who's going to go where? We have the draft coming up in April. And then everyone knows we're prepping for our fantasy baseball draft. It's basically baseball season. First spring game kicked off today, and the Dodgers are here. But we'll get to that later in the podcast. Something that we have been really getting into is where these free agents are going to go. We've done wide receivers, we've done quarterbacks, and it has led us to talking about running backs, which ironically have been kind of the talk of the internet because running back is such a taboo position. How are they valued? Are they a difference maker? Can you get one as an undrafted free agent? Running backs are definitely a weird conversation. So when we go over this list of free agents, it's kind of like looks like the first round of a fantasy football draft. We got some stars, maybe a little bit past their prime, but still dudes that can put up numbers. We're going to see
young enough.
Absolutely, right? And let's see.
I just want to say, sorry, Brandon.
Yeah,
I just want to say, I think last episode was my favorite one to record to date, and I'm excited for this one, obviously. But our limited number of viewers showing us a little bit of love by matching our high with our last episode. So really looking forward to what the future holds, and y'all just know that we're here to have some fun.
That's what it's about. And I love you people arguing in the comments.
Yeah,
I love it.
Keep it coming.
Keep arguing, man. And you let us, since y'all know where everybody's gonna go, and since y'all know all that, let us know so we can be in it together. We could do this together. Don't hide all the information to yourself. Share it. Spread it.
Might bring you on as a guest. Who knows?
Yeah, come on.
Who knows?
Watch. There's gonna be one dude that's argued every single episode, and he's right about everything. Like
Then he deserves to come home.
I'm trading myself for him. But so let's get into these free agent running backs in the spirit of this football offseason, starting with Derrick Henry. If you asked me 2 years ago, he's the best running back in the NFL.
Easy.
Now he's a free agent. It seems, nothing's impossible, but it definitely seems like Tennessee days are over, and it should be. It ran its course for a long time. So Chandler, I want to start with you. Derrick Henry, what are you feeling?
Yeah, well, he gave his farewell to the crowd, right? Like, it's been real Tennessee, love you Titans fans, and kind of insinuated he was out of there. I think the too perfect fit, and I say too perfect because I can't see it happening. I hope it happens. And that would be to the Ravens. That just sounds too good. As does kind of the next choice that I have. So if he doesn't go to the Ravens, I think it's the Cowboys. I think he goes for a change of scenery, AFC to NFC, a change of opponents, a kind of a let me prove to you that I can still do things against guys that don't really see me on a daily basis. Re-cement himself as the king, right? Mr. Henry, the king. Because I think he's still got it in him. I think he's probably wanting one more rushing title under his belt before he really kind of takes it easy. But I think he's definitely got plenty left in the tank. And Cowboys like to spend a ton of money. I would like to see him go to the Ravens, but I think the perks are going to be a little bit too nice in Dallas for him.
I like it. Yeah, especially he could take a discount to win somewhere.
Absolutely.
But I think he's made all the money. He's at that point of his career. I mean, he still put up, I think, over 1,100 yards,
Yeah, I
double-digit
think he's
touchdowns.
chasing a ship more so than the 10 mil that he got paid last
And
year.
I think you put him in an offense where it's a little more spread out. Because when you play Tennessee, you know what they're doing on first and second down. You know what they're doing. They're loading the box. I think you'll have more separation, more room to run on a team that's going to win a lot of games where you got Lamar running sideline to sideline. That squad's well powered. And I agree with you. I think he's going to go to Baltimore. I don't really see a better fit. I have kind of a second team. I think him and Philly would be fun.
Oof.
And Philly is not too bad on money, so they could definitely make that work. Baltimore would actually have more of an issue with their cap situation, but I see Derrick Henry in Baltimore. We kind of talked about this when we were prepping. Gus Edwards had a great season, touchdown wise, not so much rushing wise, because who was getting the boatload of the carries is kind of changed from week to week with that team. Could have been Lamar, it could have been Justice Hill.
Well, we haven't seen Dobbins stay healthy, and now he's a free agent.
Exactly. So you think about the good touchdown season that Gus had. I think Henry's a better version of Gus by far.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. The way they run the ball, power running, it just makes sense that he goes to Baltimore. Colby, what do you think?
Unanimous. I think he goes to the Ravens. I think the Ravens will try to get somebody like that. To have a 1-2 punch with Gus and Derrick Henry, it's more like 1-2 haymakers. There'd be consistent haymakers at your defense consistently. And I just see, Derrick Henry want to try to make a run. And, he's been with the Titans forever and a day. And, they would sometimes get in the playoffs and not get in the playoffs. So if he goes there, he's a shoe in for the playoffs. So why not go to a place if you want to take a discount? Why not go there and try and win something? I think he's got 2-3 more years left. Somebody that big, that fast, somebody that big, that fast, you still got something to give for sure. A freak of nature. You won't see a running back like that for a while. So yeah, I see him going to Baltimore, and Cowboys have made sense too.
So and just I think every player wants to play with the Cowboys at some point.
Well, and I was also going to say, I don't think
didn't
Henry
grow up in Houston
somewhere.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. He could play anywhere. But
and immediately make their offense better immediately.
And if someone deserves to ring chase, it's him. He put in his work with Tennessee.
Yep.
And it's not a huge market. That's a tough team and especially to Colby's point, the up and down with playoff success. I mean, they made it to a conference championship one year and then they missed the playoff other years. That's a tough team to really put in long tenured work there. And he didn't get dramatic and demand a trade or demand a release. He played out his contract, and I think he's doing it the best way. Go get yourself a ring. I'm rooting for him. Absolutely.
Well, so we don't know what Tennessee has to hold this offseason, right? But like you've got a emerging Texans, Jaguars, and Colts team all in the AFC South, and the only person kind of out of that party is the Tennessee Titans, and especially if he leaves, right? He's the only person.
It's going to be rebuilding for Tennessee. I mean, they got I think they have the quarterback. I think Will Levis. I think he's the quarterback.
Sure.
It's not enough, not close right now. The defense, they've always had pieces. They've always had a tricky defense that could give you a tough night. But for the most part, Tennessee's going full rebuild. Go get you a ring, Derrick Henry. But like I said, we have a star-studded cast here when we're talking about free agent running backs. So let's go number 2. I want to know where you guys think Josh Jacobs is going to go.
I think he's going to go to the Cowboys.
Oh,
after somebody leaves, because they'll have a spot to fill.
With Pollard leaving.
Yeah, because they didn't tag him last year.
Maybe.
And I don't think Jerry Jones has shown any want to sign him.
And especially after he let everybody down. Like I don't want to. That's such a corny thing to say. I don't want to say Pollard let the Cowboys down, but at least from a fantasy perspective, I would have taken it if someone took him to the back end of the first round last year. I would not have even questioned it. I thought he was going to have a huge year.
Me
And
too.
it was just meh. It was just. I mean, it wasn't
I
bad.
mean,
Like,
everybody expected him to do way better than he. I mean, because think about it. You had Zeke, and it was his first year as the guy, and you weren't like a top 3 back. That's what they were expecting out of him, was
I was
something like
for
that.
sure. Yeah.
I think everybody was, and they didn't get it.
Easily.
So, yeah. I
Yeah.
know my fantasy league, I was hoping for because I had him as a running back.
I had him as well in my
Yeah.
salary cap league. So Chandler, where do you see Josh Jacobs going?
I was about to say, is this a Josh Jacobs talk or a Tony Pollard talk?
I know it turned into that,
didn't I like it. I mean, we can
he hurt us
transition
so
right.
bad.
Yeah, we can transition right into Tony Pollard because he is on our list.
We'll go
But
ahead
Josh
next.
Jacobs, I've actually got him signing a 3-year deal with the Raiders. I think that he likes it there. I think that they like him there. He, outside of Devontae Adams, he is their identity on the offensive side of the ball. I think he's criminally underrated. He's consistently a 1,000-yard rusher. He's consistently a heavy load guy. He's proven to be able to carry it, barring a couple injuries over the years. But I think they lock him down for at least the next 3 years, and then hopefully they can build off of that because that guy is good. And again, any other team would be lucky to have him. I think he fits entirely well with the Cowboys. And again, we're insinuating that somebody's not going to be with the Cowboys any longer, but he's got to get some credit, and hopefully a 3-year contract shows that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Chandler. I see him there. He's just a Raider. He's just a Raider. I can't really envision him anywhere else. And there is value there. I think they value him. I think they have to kind of come to an agreement on what that looks like. I think once that team figures out the quarterback situation, I think it's definitely going to be more of an intriguing spot for Josh Jacobs. Again, behind Devontae Adams, and even maybe more than Devontae Adams when healthy. Who knows? I'm not here to have that conversation, but a top 2, maybe he's not 2. Who knows? Top 2 piece of that offense, and I definitely think him resigning to the Raiders. I can't really imagine anyone having the proper value for him because it is kind of confusing, but especially with the injuries last year. But I have Josh Jacobs re-signing with the Raiders. We talked about Tony Pollard. I will set it off. I have Tony Pollard signing with the Chicago Bears. I think with this team, if you keep Justin Fields or if you draft Caleb Williams, number 1, my puppy has joined the podcast. She's hanging
That's
out.
going to get us viewers easily. Easily.
So I definitely think if Chicago is going to keep Justin Fields or draft Caleb Williams, either way, you have a dynamic quarterback. I do think Caleb Williams is going to be a dynamic quarterback. You have DJ Moore, who was a stud last year. It came late, but I think he's a stud. And now you need a running back. Khalil Herbert injured often. We saw the success that Deontay Foreman had with that team. I think you get a kind of a more solid, more balanced, can do different things type of running back, especially out the backfield. Pollard can catch the ball. He can make moves on screens, things like that. Stuff that Chicago will be looking to do with either one of their quarterbacks that they will potentially have. I think Tony Pollard as the Chicago Bears on a team that doesn't not have talent, I think that's where he goes because I think he let everybody down, which I think will have him signing with a kind of more of a team that has something to prove like Chicago. That's where I think Tony Pollard goes.
Man, what a sting. I'm not a Cowboys fan by any means, but imagine going from the Cowboys to the Bears.
He let him down. He let him down.
Yeah, talk about
It
a humbling
happens.
experience.
It happens, man.
Or an ego check, rather. But
Yep. So what do you guys think?
take it away, Colby.
Commanders. I got him going to the
I
Commanders.
love it.
Everybody's going to
love
the
it.
Commanders.
Yeah, because I mean,
love
they
it.
got the most space and they can afford anyone.
Just
Why
sign
not
him.
bring Tony Pollard over there? They're going to draft a quarterback. Get him comfortable with somebody who's that good in the backfield with you. So I don't see them not trying to go for somebody like that.
Right. And that's actually an interesting pick that I agree with the theology behind it because I think Brian Robinson is a good running back. I don't think he's an every down running back. And I think Antonio Gibson's time is done. So there
Mhm.
needs to be another guy. Tony Pollard, that other guy. I I
I think
like to
Tony
think
Pollard
about that.
operates better out of the 2 hole.
I
I think
like to
we
think
saw
about
that
that.
last year,
Mhm.
right? I've got him going to the Chargers, and I'm foreshadowing the Chargers situation a little bit because Eckler's a guy that we're going to be talking about as well. I think the Chargers might look at him as a better, more consistent, healthier Austin Eckler. Not as shifty, not as explosive, but can run all the same passing routes, can hit the same holes, and might be able to hit the holes harder from a run game perspective. But I've got them looking at him because, again, I don't think he's sticking with Dallas. I like the Bears. I think that's interesting. I think it'd be hard to convince him of that because of just the from tier 1 to tier 5 in that instance. But at the same time, a job is a job. So if that's the only thing he gets offered, But I think the Chargers kind of get a little bit different look, but also a rejuvenated Austin Eckler type and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, and when we talked earlier in the week, I think the Chargers had the worst running back room in
Easy,
football.
easy.
Like Austin Eckler, I've never been a huge Austin Eckler guy, but obviously I can recognize the success that he's had in the past, especially being so versatile, running and receiving the ball. But when you look behind him, if I hear Joshua Kelly's name one more time, whenever Eckler went down,
Yeah, he's really good in a straight line.
Kelly was gonna be the fantasy star whenever Eckler went down, and it never happened. And they pulled that for 2 years. I'm sick of it. I think
Yeah, he's not the handcuff.
dude, they need some talent. They could sign two good big name running backs because that running back room is tough. But yeah, no, that's yeah. So moving forward, this is gonna be a fun one. Okay, Saquon Barkley. Let's try to be as partial as we can.
Yep. I didn't hear that. I'm gonna go Houston Texans.
Hold on, you cut
What
out
was
for a
that part?
second.
Yeah, all I heard was Houston Texans. I
Oh
love the
man,
odds going for him in Houston. I think it's a match made in freaking heaven as a fan. I think he's got a lot to prove as well. A, that he can stay healthy, and B, that he's not a product of a shit team in New York. Um, and like, what other kind of security blanket could you give CJ Stroud? And so I just think that that's fantastic. And I not only want it to happen, I actually think it will happen. And I think he'll get paid as well. I think that they'll pay him. I don't think he'll take a discount or need to take a discount from going to this team. I think the excitement, the hype is real, and he'll get a good contract out of it. And I think we have ourselves a running back for the next, 3 to 5 years.
Colby.
Yeah, Texans for me.
Houston
Uh,
Texans, baby.
uh, because he's friends with everyone on Instagram and stuff. So that's why I'm going with that.
Yep, just that's all I
This
got.
is what you get,
Yeah.
not following ESPN because they follow the analytics. None of them are looking at social media, any
Yeah.
of that,
It's
right?
more important
So
on social media,
yeah,
dude.
we're
Who
real
you're friends
people
with.
reporting real things here.
But
No.
think about it, man. Saquon would be a beast. I mean, who else? Like we were going back when we were talking about wide receivers. Like who doesn't want to play for the Texans right now?
It
Especially going from
it's
the New York Giants.
it
Oh,
Going to an
looks
absolutely.
up and coming team like the Texans. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come here? I mean, it would be awesome, and CJ would definitely benefit from it. And I
yeah.
think, like you said, the Texans they can afford a lot of people. So, but it also begs the question: is like, would they want to spend money on another receiver, or would they want to spend money on a running back? That's the kind of the question I have.
Yep.
I see them maybe wanting to go with the running back more because you got Tank Dell, Nico, those are your two. Noah Brown. I don't know if Noah Brown is staying. Is Noah Brown staying?
He's
Do
a
we
free
know?
agent.
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a question that would have to be answered later, but yeah, I see him going to the Texans. I think that'd be a good little spot for him for sure.
And
I
depending on how their
think
draft is, they could afford both,
yep.
depending on how they draft.
They
So
got some guap to spend, that's for
we
sure.
might see one well before the other.
I
Mhm.
think Saquon Barkley stays in New York. I'm kidding. I think he's coming to the Texans. No.
Houston Texans, baby.
No, look,
Go, go.
and to Chandler, the last thing you said really convinces me. For one, the odds are there. And he's almost a favorite to go there. I definitely think with the money that Houston has, I think the idea is give Stroud as many weapons as he can handle because the Texans are officially in win now mode.
Yep.
That happens whenever you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract on a good team. It's win now mode. You almost panic to get as many good players on that team as possible. I see them making a splash for it. It may not be the biggest wide receiver. I know my take is that they're trading for Stephon Diggs, but I think they can also give out a contract, a decent contract to Saquon Barkley. And again, seeing Saquon Barkley on a team that there's other weapons to focus on, because in New York, you don't have to focus on any wide receivers in New York. You need to focus on Saquon. It's similar to the Derrick Henry conversation. You know who's getting the ball on first and second down. With Houston, it's kind of spread out all over the place. He's going to have more room to not only run, but also catch the ball. He was the best receiver on the Giants since Odell Beckham. So he's fantastic catching the ball, super explosive. Injuries with Saquon will always be the case, but that is the case with most running backs. So it's an issue all across the board. Saquon Barkley, I think Texans sign him, and I think Texans also make a splash for a receiver in some way. So unanimous Houston. How about that?
Let's go.
The last one, Austin Eckler. We mentioned him kind of in the past. I think this is my take. Check this out. I think Austin Eckler signs with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think so. I think there's a chance that they move on from Joe Mixon. If not, they keep him in a very limited role. You get a guy like Austin Eckler. If you're going to keep Joe Mixon runs the ball, Austin Eckler receives the ball. And you have kind of a 1-2 punch there. Or I could see them moving on and saving cap space from Joe Mixon altogether. And then you have Austin Eckler, a guy that can really be versatile in the offense. Joe Burrow gets him involved receiving the ball, and then we already know the weapons they have. They're probably going to bring back T. Higgins on a franchise. You got Jamar Chase. I think Austin Eckler kind of fits in. And in Austin Eckler's age, he's older, he's getting up there. He could even take a limited role. He doesn't need to be on the field 24/7. He wasn't even on the field 24/7 last year with how bad the Chargers were. So I definitely think him going to Cincinnati, even if they keep Joe Mixon, I think you got two guys that can really give you some production, or I could see him taking on more of a predominant role if they choose to move on from Joe Mixon. But I got the Cincinnati Bengals. Who you guys got?
Take it away, Colby. I'm looking at stuff, man.
For all the reasons you stated, Brandon, but for a different team, I think he's going to go to Kansas City.
That's crazy.
I think
love it.
I think
Checo to the curb.
Yo, no 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kind of what they did or tried to do with Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So, I kind of, you know what? I kind of have a feeling that the Chiefs are going to make a out of nowhere, someone's going to go there to try to get a ring. And Austin Eckler to the Chiefs. Colby came to pod today.
Yeah,
Colby came to pod.
Not just the hair.
It's not just the hair. It's what's underneath it.
Absolutely.
Going Super Saiyan, dude.
Between these two ears, you know.
I'm going Super Saiyan, dude.
Yeah.
What you got?
So I was looking at Mixon's contract compared to Eckler's contract last year, and it's $2 million and change compared to $6 million and change. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if I feel like Eckler is 3 times the player from a money perspective that Mixon is, but I've got him going to the Panthers because I think Miles Sanders is out. He's getting on, I don't want to say his last leg because he's a running back, but he's getting on his later years in his career for running back. I think Eckler not only can prove that he's still got it, he needs to prove that he's still got it. And the Panthers are the team of proving yourselves. Like, you don't have a home, come here. We got you. If not, then I think that he is a 1-2 punch at New Orleans, the Saints with Kamara. Oh, I think that would be very interesting.
That is one screen pass throwing team.
Yeah, that's
if
exactly
you have those two on your squad.
Yeah, what's coming next?
Yeah, exactly.
Dump offs.
But I mean, those are two guys with the Saints that have proven to be on the field for 3, if not 4 downs out of 4. And if you keep them both on the field, and I mean, you got Chris Olave as your number 1 wide receiver over there, but you can sacrifice a tight end or an extra O lineman or a Z receiver or something in order to keep both of them on the field at the same time. And I just think it increases the amount of trickery they have up their sleeve, and keeps it away from the two focal points in Olave and Kamara. But ultimately, I think he goes to the Panthers, takes over the starting role there, kind of shows that he can still do the things. And if not, he'll go to the Saints.
I love the two destinations. You have double chances. You could be right. You know.
Yeah, I got to increase.
We were all different on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, the Bengals surprisingly have money,
They do,
and
yeah.
I can see them making a splash or even talking to either one of these running backs. I think Eckler kind of makes the most sense. But
And they just franchised T, right?
the report is they're going to. I don't know if they've officially done
hasn't
it
happened yet. Gotcha.
but they're expected to at this
Gotcha.
point. So yeah, no, I really like the destinations you guys came with. Staying in football, I want to get your guys' opinion. So Dak Prescott is searching and will expect to get. I think Jerry Jones loves Dak Prescott, but he wants 60 million a year,
It's a lot.
which Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback per year at 55, so it'd be $5 more million a year. Dak Prescott, that type of extension, what are you guys thinking?
I don't think he's worth that much. He's worth some money, but not more than that.
So then that gets to the idea of, is Joe Burrow worth more than Dak Prescott?
I would take Burrow.
Okay. Even with the injuries?
Yep.
Okay. What do you think, Chandler?
I think it's really interesting because history has shown us that quarterback contracts don't win championships. And
Yep.
I think an increase
Unless you're
in his
Patrick Mahomes.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, what's funny is you're comparing Dak to Joe Burrow and not Patrick Mahomes, the guy that's
Oh,
got
yeah.
3 rings in the first
Yeah,
6
no.
years. Yeah.
He's up
But
there.
yeah, he is up there, but he's not the highest paid at this point in time. And
Per year, right?
yeah, but and 1 million or 10 million, the difference of a year, or 5 million, I guess in this instance, from 55 to 60. I think that can be better spent somewhere else. And in Dak's instance, I think it's an increase of like 15 million from 45 to 60 that he's looking for. Yeah, or check me on that, Brandon. I don't know if you're looking that up right now.
No,
or not,
I was just gonna pull up his numbers.
Yeah.
Saying that's what
Uh,
Dak wants. He says he wants 60.
Well, I mean, I think it really comes from his agent, not necessarily Dak, but
Sure.
the idea
Okay.
is you set the market, and if the highest paid quarterback is at 55 million a year, he's going to go for 60 because one guy, you can make the argument that Prescott is better than Burrow. Rather, if you
Statistically.
agree or not, the idea is that you can make the argument, and that's what gets you the contracts. That's the whole point of markets, right? You have one guy that's making X amount, and one guy says, you know what? I think I'm better than him, even if it's true or not. If you can make the argument, chances are you're going to get that big contract. So just to put things in perspective,
and I hate to bring the GOAT into this conversation, but like we've seen Tom Brady in the past make, cuts to his contract or take a lower amount, adjustments to his contract so that he can re-sign key players to their team so he can keep winning championships. If it is a Mahomes type who is literally winning, single-handedly winning you football games and Super Bowls, you pay him whatever the hell you want to. But Dak Prescott that doesn't have anything to show for it, I just think that money can be like placed so many other better places than the quarterback position. Again, think about signing Derrick Henry. Pay that guy something and get yourself something consistent.
But yeah, it's having weight with what you're asking for.
Exactly.
What rap sheet do you have that says, "Hey, you're worth 60 million?" And I don't know, it just didn't seem like he has that.
What one person's worth 60 million a year?
Yeah.
So the
perspective,
his last year numbers, he had 36 touchdowns to 9 interceptions on 70% completion on just over 4,500 yards.
That's a good season.
A casual 4,500 yards.
Well, I mean, yeah, but yeah, I don't really know where I sit as far as
what's your opinion, Brandon?
I think it's what have you done for me lately is the argument. If we're being very specific and saying Dak Prescott over Joe Burrow can't stay on the field, so I don't think he should make more than Dak Prescott in that regard. He's had season-ending injuries, seems like multiple seasons now. So it has been multiple seasons. No, that's not a debate there. So as far as the value goes and the amount of money he's making, that's not really what I'm talking about. It's more, does this guy deserve to make more than him? And I definitely don't think Joe Burrow needs to make more than Dak Prescott, if that makes sense. So, it is what it is. But again, I think he's gonna get it because I think Jerry Jones loves him. And I mean, he did have a crazy year last year, better numbers than Mahomes, better numbers. Obviously, we want championships. It's not a numbers game, it's a championship game. But he did have he put up the season to have this conversation. If it went any other way, I don't think so. At the end of the day, it ended in a embarrassing first round exit in the playoffs. So we'll see. But at this point, take it up with accounting, right?
Yeah.
Take it
That's
up
what
with
I like,
accounting.
what does it get you? Right?
Yeah,
What
at
does
the end of the day,
what does it get you?
what are we
There's
talking
one
about?
game in the entire season that matters. And if you don't make it to that game, it doesn't matter. And if you lose that game, it actually doesn't matter. So
It's just like comparing two teams that neither of them made the Super Bowl. Like one team won 2 games and the other team won 8, but neither made the playoffs. What team's better than the other?
Yep.
If anything, losing more games, it gets you more value,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, are you winning the Super Bowl or not? Are you winning the Super Bowl
one
or
winner.
not?
Everybody else is losers.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So let's get off anything football related near and dear to our hearts before we transition. No.
Looking forward to the draft coming up, and we'll be sure to do a piece on the draft as well, or a cast on the draft.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Caleb Williams. Will the Bears move on from Justin Fields? That's been the only conversation right now.
Yeah.
Apparently there's some really good quarterbacks. I usually get about a month out and I do pretty much a deep film study. I've done it since I was a kid, but I definitely think there's some great quarterbacks with May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Penix. There's some Jalen Daniels. There's some guys.
And we've got a little over 2 months to get there, as you confirmed, before we started this here today. But maybe that's our first live cast. I don't know how we go about doing that, but maybe draft day
we could go on Twitch, dude.
Is our first live cast.
Why did he podcast come into Twitch?
Come into what?
That's
gonna be
great. But okay, so Colby, you want to give some golf stuffs?
Sure, man. Here for it.
I got you.
Came dressed for the occasion. All right, guys. So this is what I got going on. A little info on what's going on here. This is the Mexico Open. This has only been going on for 3 years. This is the 3rd year that they've had this tournament. And so we don't really have a whole lot to go off of as far as like history with these players playing at these tournaments. Usually that's what we do. We say, okay, this player plays good at this course. This player plays good at this course. Well, this year there's not a whole lot of names in this tournament. There's probably maybe 3 or 4 that, somebody who watches golf can probably name them. Tony Finau's one of them. Jaeger's one of them. There's a couple of other of them in there, but I'm not picking Tony Finau. He's going for 12,000. I didn't want to touch him. He did win last year. Out of the 2 tournaments, John Rahm won the first year. He's over at Live right now, and Tony Finau won last year. And Tony Finau's playing really good, but not $12,000, 12K worth.
That messes with your whole lineup. Messes with your whole lineup.
So you got to learn how to delegate and allocate funds and all that stuff. That's kind of what I do. And so what I did for this tournament was I just basically took metrics. You have your drive, you have your approach, chip, putt, all that stuff. And I went off of those stats and data, and these are the names that came up that caught my eye. And trust me, you're not going to know these names. There's some of these guys I don't even know, right? Not the ones that I picked. I do know most of these guys, but based off the stats that I've seen, I picked these guys, okay? So we got Brandon Wu. He went for 9,100. He came in 3rd and 2nd on the last 2 tournaments here. So top 3 finishes twice at this tournament. So I'm picking him for that reason. Not only does he fit the metric and all that stuff, but he finished 3rd and 2nd. So that definitely speaks to me. He's played good at this course. we went with, let's see, we went with, what's his name? Taylor Pendrith. This guy fit the metric the most. The only thing he didn't hit was drive, and everything else was a go. His long game's good. He's good within 100. His chip's great. He putts well, and he's been playing very well as of recent. Actually, he's missed not this last one, but the last, but he's kind of doing a flip flop. He's tied for 8th, tied for 10th, tied for 9th, and then he cut in between those two. So um, usually when he has a down tournament, he does really good the next. He's went -17, -3, -13, -4, -9. So he's not playing bad. He's really good. But as far as what he's been doing lately, Taylor Pendrith fit the model really well. This tournament fits drive and approaches. Those are the most important things on this tournament. I'm sorry I didn't say this before, preface it. But the players that have the best and longest drives and the players that have the best approaches do well in this course. So, and this is more or less a wide course. So the people who can drive far but can't approach, they're able to score more because it's more of a wide course. You're not missing the fairways as much on this course. So it's another rhyme or reason why I chose some of these guys. Some of them can just bomb off the tee, and I picked them because of that, because that gives them a better chance than most of these guys. So Taylor Pendrith was one that fit the model pretty well. We got Jake Knapp. He's sitting at -4 right now. He's doing really good. He's got 26.5 points right now. He's sitting at -4, tied for 15th. He's another guy that fit the metric. He's got a great drive, great approach. He hasn't his chip and his putt isn't like great, but his approach and drive is phenomenal right now. So I went with him for that. And we got Sung Young Kim. I actually picked him last time on the last tournament. He did pretty decent. He has only missed one cut out of the last 5. He hasn't really shot bad. He went 9 under, 8 under, 2 under, 7 under, 8 under. And the last time he played at this tournament, he tied for 24th. So we went with him, and he's playing pretty good right now. Actually, today I got kind of mad at him because he started off like 3 birdies today or something like that, par, and then he had a bogey, double bogey. So I was kind of mad at that, man. I was like, man, this guy's playing good, and then out of nowhere he just didn't do good. But he's sitting at +1 right now, and this lineup is for the whole tournament, so we got room to play with. I'm pretty sure he'll be at the cut line because he's only at +1. And this guy is going to be a pretty interesting pick. I think you guys are going to like this pick. This guy's named Vincent Norman, and he's one of the back half guys. He's at 7,600. He's made 7 of the last 10 cuts. Let's see. He's had one cut where he didn't really play very well, but this is an interesting stat for Vincent Norman because, like I said, I'm pulling stats out of my butt here. I'm looking for every like advantage, right? And since there's not very many big names at this course or at this tournament, it's a weak field. There's not a whole lot of people that are like barn burners, right? Vincent Norman, there was a stat there that it's a stat where they pick the strength of the tournament, like what names are there, and Vincent Norman beats everyone when it comes to a weak field. This guy outplays everybody when there's a weak field. If there's a strong field, like you got all your John Rahm, Sky Scheffler, this guy is back. Don't even worry about him. But whenever there's a weak field, this guy kills it. And he's actually right now, well, he's actually my 3rd best player, but he was shooting really well earlier. He got 25 points for me. He's sitting at 3 under, and he's tied for 22nd. Dude, you wouldn't even know him, right? But he but he plays good.
The dude shows up when all the good guys are not playing.
Yeah, so that's why I picked
a win's
Vincent Norman.
A win. I'm not here to discuss it,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got Vincent Norman basically because he plays well in weak fields, and that's why I picked him. And my last guy, this is an interesting pick too. So this is Joseph Bramlett, okay? There's a player at this tournament named Cameron Champ, and he's the longest drive in all of PGA round. He's the guy that hits the furthest. He outdrives everybody, right? And he was sitting at, I think, a 9,600, and he has missed 4 of the last cuts. I know I'm making this about Cameron Champ right now, but he has missed 4 of the last cuts. The last 4 cuts he's missed, right? I find it hard to pay for somebody that's $9,600 and he's missed 4 cuts, but he drives great, so he's going to be good for this tournament. Joseph Bramlett is a poor man's Cameron Champ. He drives the crap out of the ball, and he's great on the approach. That's the reason why I picked this guy, because I would rather spend 6,800 instead of 9,600 and get the same outcome. This guy is sitting at seventh right now. He's hitting 5 under because he's in front of the field when he's on his drives. Like, it's just making sense. Like, this guy's smoking it on the drive and approach, and he's just it's working out. So we went with Joseph Bramlett, poor man's Cameron Champ. And he's doing great right now. Like I said, he's tied for seventh, and he's my point leader right here, and I paid less for him, 6,800. So yeah,
Nice.
So there's definitely a room to say no one should be sleeping on Nap.
yeah. Don't sleep on Nap.
Bars. Y'all
Yeah,
forget
that
I
guy
do
was-
this.
I thought it was Knape.
That guy's doing good too. He's tied for 15th.
With the way you pronounce names, I thought it was Knape. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different reasons why I picked these guys. They were really kind of funny reasons, but I mean, you kind of have to, because it's there's not a lot to go off of. So there's my reasons.
Dude.
Yep.
I love it. They're very analytical. And I took your lineup, put $5 on it, and I think the contest I'm in, it's about 5,500 people, and with barely, I mean, only a fraction has been played, and we're in the top half. We're in the 2000s, so we're making it work right now. So
yeah, this lineup's doing pretty good.
And when is this tournament over? When is it concluded?
It'll be Sunday. We just want to make cuts here, so
I'm gonna be a millionaire on Sunday. This is great.
So you want to make it to the cut. Like, if your player doesn't make the cut, then that means your player's out, and all you have is the rest of your players that you have. So we just want to make cuts here. And I think these guys will make it. They'll play Saturday and Sunday.
I love it. It's my favorite. My favorite segment of the podcast is Colby's Golf. I can just listen to
4 weeks straight. Let's go.
Just listen to him talk about golf. It's great. So I'm gonna get into some UFC. There's definitely a good card this weekend. It is free. It's in Mexico City. So a lot of Mexican fighters have a history of bringing the fight and basically having the best quality of fights that you can have in boxing, MMA. So this should be definitely a fun one. So I'm going to share, and then we're going to look at, we got headline Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval just fought for the flyweight championship, didn't come out on top, and Brandon Moreno, a former flyweight champion himself. So we got a champion challenger, and we got a former champion fighting. We also got Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. If anybody knows me personally, they know I'm a Brian Ortega stan. That's my boy, which hurts me when I get to breaking down that fight. But there's definitely some big names. Raul Rojas Jr., the youngest fighter ever signed in UFC history. He's fighting. We got some Hony Barcelos is a guy I'm a big fan of. Christian Quiones. There's going to be a lot of people going to sleep on this card. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't bet the over on many fights, but there's going to be some slanging and some banging on here. So I want to get to my parlay. I always give you all a parlay.
It's a nap contest.
We got it. So kind of starting from the bottom, my first fight that I'm picking Luis Rodriguez over Denise Bondar. Luis Rodriguez, for one, location matters for the judges. Whenever a fight is in Mexico City and you have a Mexican fighter, the crowd goes nuts for the Mexican fighter on any single shot that may not have landed or landed flush. Who knows? But judges cater towards, especially if a fight goes to the decision, judges cater for the fighter from that region. So I think this is a flyweight fight. Flyweight fights typically go the distance. So I like Luis Rodriguez here. He's sitting at -115, so it's a pick'em fight. I'm taking the Mexican fighter here. He's on a massive win streak outside of the UFC. This is his debut in the UFC. I think he's going to take it home on home turf. My next one, Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan. This fight's going to last about 40 seconds. I'm going to be honest with you. Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan, these are two heavy hitters. Though Duncan had a history of knocking people out, But when he got to the UFC, obviously the talent is more stacked. So he went to more decisions than you would think. Manuel Torres is not about to go to any decision. He's either getting knocked out or knocking someone out. Let's just hope that he's the one that does the knocking out for sake of my parlay. So give me Manuel Torres. And then, oh, I missed this one. I'm taking this guy, Muhammad Naimov. I'm taking him over Eric Silva on the first fight of the card. I have a rule where I don't bet on the first fight, but I'm trying to stack my parlay so I can get better odds. The more legs you have, the more money you make. So I'm taking Naimov over Eric Silva. Eric Silva looked completely lost in his last fight. With a 9-2 record, he's a little inexperienced, especially being new to the UFC. This guy's a freaking tank. So I'm definitely taking Naimov. So Naimov, I'm taking Luis Rodriguez. I'm taking Manuel Torres. And then we get to the co-main event and the main event. Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. I am a huge Brian Ortega fan, but my lock of the night is Yair Rodriguez. Here's why. Brian Ortega has not won a fight since 2020.
Whoa.
He has been
crazy.
He's battled crazy injuries.
Does he know what year it is?
What's up?
Does he know what year it is?
Right. He's a great fighter. His resume over time has aged poorly. He doesn't have his biggest win is the Korean Zombie who just retired. So he doesn't have the best resume. I love him as a fighter. Yair Rodriguez coming off of fighting Volkanovski for the 145 belt. These two fought for about a round a couple years ago, but Ortega had a terrible shoulder injury that forced the fight to be stopped due to his shoulder injury. But in that first round, it went about 4 minutes and 11 seconds. So it was almost a total round. Yair was piecing him up on the feet. I think it continues like that. I think Yair, this is a 5-round co-main event, which is rare, by the way. They're usually 3. But I think Yair Rodriguez, he's my lock. He's sitting at minus 150. I think it should be a hell of a lot higher. Brian Ortega, ring rust is a thing. You haven't fought in forever. And when you do, he's coming off 2 losses. I don't see him standing and banging with Yair Rodriguez. He has the best kicks in the game. His kicks are like jabs. They're so fast. Yair Rodriguez struggles against wrestlers. Ortega is a fantastic jiu-jitsu guy, but he doesn't really have an offensive wrestling game. So if it gets to the ground and it gets in transitions, that's when he'll utilize jiu-jitsu, but he can't really you're not going to see him shoot a double leg. So I think it's going to stay out on the feet, where I think Yair Rodriguez has a big advantage. So I'm taking Yair Rodriguez, adding him to the parlay. And then the main event, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval. Royval is a dude that's going to come in and give you everything. He's going to expand all his energy, get it out of there so fast. Moreno's been here before. He's a former champion. I think he won the last fight, which he lost his belt. I had the decision going to Moreno. I think he got robbed in that aspect. Royval, he can get a tricky finish. He's super long, super tall. He's awkward to fight. He'll catch you in a guillotine. He'll catch you with the right hook when you're not looking, and he'll finish somebody. I don't think it's going to be Brandon Moreno, so I'm adding Brandon Moreno to the parlay. So if you go Brandon Moreno, you go Yair Rodriguez, Manuel Torres, Luis Rodriguez, and Muhammad Naimov, plus 638, 50 wins you 319. That is my parlay. But it should, like I said, if you guys got nothing to do, and I'm just not talking to YouTube, but just in general, if y'all got nothing to do on a Saturday and you want to watch some people get just beat unconscious, this is the card to watch. I think there's going to be, how many fights are there? Let me count. So we got 13 fights. There's going to be 8 finishes.
We got lucky that 13 is the maximum number that Brandon can count to.
Yep, I can only count to as many followers as we have.
Yeah, that's right.
The 13 fights, there's going to be at least 8 finishes. I'm calling it. There's going to be some dudes swinging and banging. And again, that Yair Rodriguez Brian Ortega fight, I could see Yair finishing Ortega, which the odds are great in that favor, because I think it's favored to go go the distance basically. But yeah, it's going to be people going to be bloody. It's going to be
talk about a fall off, man. Ortega, huh?
You know, again,
wild.
he's one of my favorite fighters in the sport. His jiu-jitsu almost makes me emotional. It's so good. The way he transitions from triangles to arm bars to leg locks, it's just, but the thing is, he doesn't always use it. He stands and bangs because he doesn't have an offensive wrestling game. if you had an offensive wrestling game, you can get a double leg, single leg, get him to the ground, then utilize jiu-jitsu. He only utilizes when he's counter wrestling. When someone shoots on him, that's when he locks in his submissions. But Yair's not going to shoot on you. Yair's going to kick you in the face. So I think it's going to play out on the feet. And if your plan is to stay on the feet with Yair, that's a bad plan. It's just not a good idea. So
Ortega almost had Volk, yeah.
And that guillotine, yep. And that reason why that guillotine happened is because Volk shot on Ortega. Like, that's how it happens. But if Ortega, maybe in his time off, he added to the tool belt, but if he implemented a offensive wrestling game, I think he would win a lot more fights. But Yair, and the odds, Yair was as high as -180, and he dropped to -150. So the money's actually coming in on Ortega. I don't see it. Okay, so you guys want to get into some fun draft stuff?
This is what I'm looking forward to, buddy. I look forward to all of it.
Also, that was a great UFC card breakdown.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great.
Hell yeah, brother.
This is what I do.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, guys. So every episode, at least the most recent episodes, we do a draft. We pick a topic, and we have a pool of players or whatever, and we see who has the best team of 5 drafting. Do you guys want to anyone volunteer, want to go first, want to go last, so I don't have to pull up the wheel? Anybody want to go first? I haven't gone first yet. I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
You got it, bro.
So we'll go me,
Chandler, then me.
Chandler, Colby. Okay.
I like it.
David, I like the fluidness of what we got going on here. So I'm not this draft's pool is the most exciting players of all time, whatever that means to you. That's what we are drafting here today. So I like to keep track of who's got who. Let me pull up my handy dandy notes here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go me, Chanman, Koji.
And it's like exciting and entertaining, you know. I mean, if you're rooting for the Chiefs, you know, if you're a Chiefs fan, Patrick Mahomes is not.
That was actually the better thing I should have said. Exciting players, just whatever that means to you. Someone you turn on the TV, you can't look away. Those guys. And with my first pick, I'm going to set it off with drafting Sir Michael Vick. The most exciting, in my opinion, the most exciting quarterback of all time. I can't let him go. I can't let him go to anybody else. He's my number 1. I'm taking Michael Vick with my first pick. Go ahead and mark
that off.
Yep. And this is a draft where we don't really have stats or anything to support it. It's the eye test. You don't have stats.
What we like, what we want.
Chandler,
favorite.
Your first pick.
My number 1 draft pick in this most entertaining, most exciting players pool is Usain Bolt. Watching that guy sprint and give his opponents, you know, a peace sign or like a little wave to him as he goes by. I think that's the ultimate sign of disrespect in a competitive nature, and nothing more fun to watch than somebody just dominate a league, so to speak, right? Dominate the Olympics in a certain category for so long. So Usain Bolt would pick one.
He makes fast people look not fast.
Exactly.
That was a curveball from the get-go.
Yeah.
Colby, where you got? You go 2 in a row after this, or you go 1 in a row? Yeah, you go back to back.
That's good. That's good because these 2 are interchangeable.
Perfect.
These guys are like my top all-time, like most exciting to watch. Reggie Bush at USC.
Reggie Bush, USC. Yeah.
Yes, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in sports. That guy.
I think I know your next pick.
Yeah, and my next pick is going to be from the same year, and he's in college. Vince Young. In the same year, watching those 2 guys play in the Rose Bowl.
Getting Reggie Bush and Vince Young on the same team is kind of cheating, but
yeah,
we'll take it. All right, Chandler.
We were spoiled.
Yes.
Chandler, who did what in water polo?
Yeah, we're done with track stars. I'm going Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Not only from his on-field play, but also from his off-field, we'll call it play. And the fact that he's a head coach now, I think the guy is a character. I think he brings 170% everywhere he goes, talking smack to his kids, talking smack to universities. Just like, it's hard to listen to that guy and not laugh about it at to some extent. So I got Deion Sanders number 2.
That's crazy. but I am pretty happy with my next two. So my next pick, the second player on my team, I'm taking white chocolate Jason Williams,
Love it.
Dude.
the most creative passer in NBA history. The perfecter of the elbow pass, which I don't know if you ever tried to do the elbow pass. It's almost impossible. It's so hard to do, and he did it in the middle of an All-Star game, which is even crazy. And with my third pick, I am taking Mr. Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, the best celebrations ever in sports, the best character, putting on the Hall of Fame jacket, playing golf with the pylon. They're just especially with the rules nowadays, there's never gonna when he danced with the cheerleaders, there's never gonna be a guy like it. So I'm taking Chad Johnson with my third pick. Chandler, it's on you.
Number 3 coming in hot. Yeah, John Stockton with the Jazz.
Yep.
That's who made me think that I could play basketball. Even
you
to an
do
extent.
kind of look like him.
Thanks. I don't know if I appreciate that or not. We'll have to
like
Google.
John Stockton.
We'll have to Google it. As far as entertainment for me, John Stockton for sure.
Yeah, no, he's assists, steals. Dude was a madman.
Yep.
Colby, what you got?
I don't know if you guys have heard this guy. This is probably in way left field. But I got Tiger Woods.
Nice, Judy.
Why did I fall for it? I thought he was gonna say someone I didn't know.
Best golfer all time. Anything that guy could do anything on the course if he just had his mind to it. It was insane to watch that guy make some shots he made.
Colby's got a crazy team. Okay, who do you got next, Colby?
Oh, me next, huh? So I had a moment in my life where I was watching a lot of soccer, and everybody kind of knows where this is going. Lionel Messi, watching that guy, that was an insane, craziest football player, craziest soccer player I've ever seen. The guy, what that guy could do with the soccer ball was insane,
without a doubt.
Yeah. Colby always goes to the short guys.
Hey,
he has a thing for the short guys. I mean,
show some love,
but...
dude. I have so many more.
All right, Chandler, your fourth player. Athlete.
We're gonna go David Ortiz.
Ooh, Big Poppy.
Big Poppy. And it's not only the nickname, it's similar to what Dion's doing outside of sports right now. I think it's absolutely hilarious and incredibly entertaining to listen to him rag on the rest of his MLB cast before games. He's
so funny.
During games, after games. Yeah, he's absolutely hilarious. And then nobody was launching bigger bombs back in his time. So Big Poppy coming in at 4.
I love it. So I'm going back to round off my team. With my fourth pick, I'm taking Steph Curry. I mean, just changing the game, pulling up from half court, the best shooter in NBA history, officially, pretty much in every metric. Changing the way rosters are constructed. You know, now you got to have shooters on your team. I definitely the smoothest jump shot, and just his competitive nature, his clutch shooting. Unbelievable. I'm taking Steph Curry. And I want to know if you guys are with me on this one. This is a fun pick. I'm taking Kansas City Chiefs Dante Hall.
Ooh,
do you remember the jukes from Dante Hall? He would break ankles middle of the game. But I'm taking Dante Hall with my last pick to round off my team. I'll go over all the teams whenever the teams are full. Chandler, who do you got to round off your team? Fifth guy.
Yeah, pick number 5. I'm going to come from a different angle here. Tennis and Andre Agassi.
Okay.
Grew up watching him. Shout out my mom here for a second. That was her favorite player as I was growing up, favorite athlete as I was growing up. The dude was basically just a hippie that could play ball, right? And it was awesome to watch, showing up with his visors or his headbands, his long hair. He reminds me, I think the guy's name is Chip from that movie. Office Space, right? Jennifer Aniston works at that restaurant, and Chip has all the badges on, and she needs more flair. Andre Agassi was the flair, just always fun to watch. Always, never unwilling to argue a call. Congratulated, is obviously top sportsman in his league as well. But yeah, that rounds out my 5. Andre Agassi, and I want him with hair. I don't
That's
want
the only version I want.
I don't want the bald Andre Agassi, all the flair.
Colby, your 5th pick, and our teams are complete.
I'm gonna finish it off with LaDainian Tomlinson.
I hate Colby. I'm be honest,
dude. It was so fun watching that guy. I mean, obviously in high school and stuff, and
touchdown
Like,
machine,
touchdown
throwing,
machine.
catching,
Yeah.
running.
Just everything, bro. He was all in one back.
Everybody loved him. Texas boy, TCU.
Yep.
So to round off the teams, I drafted first. I have Michael Vick, White Chocolate Jason Williams, Chad Johnson, or Chad Ochocinco, whichever one you prefer, Steph Curry, and Dante Hall. Chandler, you had Usain Bolt, Deion Sanders, John Stockton, David Ortiz, and Andre Agassi. Colby, you had Reggie Bush. I'm mad. I'm mad saying Colby's team. Colby had USC Reggie Bush, Texas Vince Young, Tiger Woods, Messi, LaDainian Thomas. Yeah, we lost. I'm gonna be honest. I think I lost, but that's crazy. And that would be our most entertaining players draft.
I had one more, and he was in high school. Y'all remember Sam McGuffey?
Sam McGuffey.
That's a Cy-Fair thing.
McGuffey.
Dude,
Yeah,
watching that
Cy-Fair
live was probably the craziest thing. Like him jumping over that kid. Oh my goodness.
So
like 3,200 yards, like 40 touchdowns or some crap.
The
like
guys
that.
I had on my team, that I had on my list that I didn't pick. Shaq was one of them.
Yeah, Shaq.
Just his personality and his dominance. I just really wanted to say Dante Hall. Otherwise, I would have picked Shaq. I just wanted to say Dante Hall.
Yeah, say other players that were on there. Just
so I had Barry Sanders. I had Chris Johnson, CJ2K, Chris Johnson. I had Texas Vince Young.
Hey,
thanks, brother. I had Deion Sanders. Thanks, Chandler.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, that's it.
My 6 was John Daly.
Yeah, dude. Why didn't I think of that guy?
Yeah.
John Daly was so much fun. Oh, yeah.
He still is, man. Drinking 43 Diet Cokes on the course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was spiked half with crown and stuff.
All right. Dude. So we transitioning to baseball.
You want to do a player perspective, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So player perspective. Well, yours technically isn't baseball.
Technically, it isn't.
We'll do yours first.
Oh,
so
okay.
we have a player perspective. This is when we take stats from two players, put them side by side, blocking out the face and the name, and you make your own decision. Who would you rather have based on the stats alone? And the truth could be revealing. So that sounded like a TV show, headline. So let's go.
Unsolved mysteries.
Right? The truth could be revealing. So I'm sharing.
Yep.
All right. So this is Chandler, and I haven't looked at this. So let's look at it live.
Yeah, no cheating.
So you kind of quarterback this. No pun intended.
This is 2 NFL running backs. And I've got one more easy hint if y'all want it, but I want y'all to just take a look at it. It's 2 current NFL running backs. These are their their career stats. Career stats.
Okay.
Oh man, I think I want one.
How many years or the games?
Well, they've each played
1 game apart.
Yeah. I think I want number 1 because he was more a factor in the passing game.
In the receiving game?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Something that caught me off guard is if you're looking at 1, you got 35 rushing touchdowns, 12 reception touchdowns. That's 47. And if you look at 2, he's got 46.
So this dude's he gets in the end zone running the ball for sure. I want 1. I want 1. Colby, what are you thinking?
Do we have guesses on who they might be?
Oh my God.
I have a hint for you if you want.
So can you give me do you off the top of your head, you don't have to give this to me. Off the top of your head, can you tell me how many seasons they played?
Oof.
No?
That would give away.
Yeah.
Would that give it away? I don't want to know the year. I just want to know.
74 divided by 16.
I'm not doing that.
I'll do it right now.
Dude, I think
they played 5 years.
You got
so they're both 5 years in. Okay.
Yep.
One, he's a dual threat.
These guys are still playing today, you said?
They're still playing today. Here's the hint. We actually talked about them today. Both of them.
Austin Eckler's 1.
Eckler's 1?
Yeah.
And then 2. So he has no reception touchdowns. 2 has 0.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking Josh Jacobs, but I think Jacobs caught 1.
Yeah, I was thinking Josh Jacobs too.
So both of these we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Oh, so I'm with Colby on 1 being Eckler. Okay. 2, Well, I'm trying to think.
Give me a name. There's only 5 to choose
Pollard.
from.
2 is Pollard.
We'll go that. We'll go
All
Eckler
right.
1, Pollard 2.
1 is Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
What?
And two
what?
two is Josh Jacobs.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought Jacobs would have definitely caught one. I guess not.
Yeah.
No, I
Didn't
definitely
matter.
want Saquon Barkley over Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
put names to them, man. But
Yeah, no, they're close. They're close.
I thought it was pretty wild.
That was
I did
good.
not expect them to be that
That
close.
is so much fun. Okay. All right, let me stop. And then we'll do mine and then we'll do Colby's.
Love it.
Sure.
Okay. So let me make sure I get mine. Okay, boom.
You are
Boom.
better now. Better now. Ooh. Let's
Ooh.
see here.
Okay,
Tell
so
'em.
these are 2 current playing outfielders
Okay.
in the MLB. On the left, you can obviously see steals more bases, has a better batting average, slightly better slugging. But if you look on the right, more homers in less games, more RBIs in less games, better on-base percentage, better OPS. What are you guys thinking?
Baseball stats are so much harder to go through.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah.
And this is just regular outfielders?
This is
or
just outfielders.
just
That's all I'm
outfielders in
giving you.
general?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, stolen bases, and he's almost batting 300.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly. I think I know who left is.
Acuna had a better average.
He had way more stolen bases.
Acuna's
Way
stole
more-
about 80
Acuna's not
bags.
on
Yeah,
here.
so Acuna had like 60 more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have guesses. Who do we think left is?
Dude, I don't know.
I'm
I
thinking
think-
left. Go ahead, Colby. You got it.
I mean, I was just gonna throw a name out, but I know it's way off because I know his
Send it.
batting average isn't as high. I was gonna say Ruiz.
Oh, Ruiz. No, Ruiz doesn't have a pop of 18 homers, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but that's the only thing that came to mind
Yeah.
was stolen bases. 'Cause I know
Chandler,
he
do you have an
stole
idea
bases
for
like
one?
crazy.
You're not going to get right. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is games last year, right?
Yeah, this is last season. Yep.
Last season. Mookie.
Man,
Mookie had
57
more.
RBIs is what's really throwing me off.
And he played more games. More games, more plate appearances, I mean.
That's really like bad.
Okay, so we ready? Should I expose it?
I give up.
No guesses? Chandler?
Yeah, first of all, I think I'd rather have left because
Okay.
the war is so much better. I'm gonna go
Yeah, I
left.
go left.
Left is either Cody Bellinger or Mike Trout.
So both incorrect.
Damn.
Left is Michael Harris II
Okay.
Ooh,
from
okay.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
He is projected to be the 13th best fantasy outfielder. So
Okay.
top 13, he's expected to be 13. On the right is Detroit Tigers Kerry Carpenter, who is ranked 58th.
Yep.
Who is projected to be 58th.
Yep.
So you got one guy who's 13th on the left, and you got a guy who is 58th on the right. And as you can see, it's some better than others in some positions.
That war
A
is
lot
wild,
closer.
but that's a 9-hole versus a 6-hole guy.
And like I said, I'm partial to Kerry Carpenter. He was my starting outfielder towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
So I always thought no one knows him, no one pays attention. And on a Tigers team, it's supposed to be a lot better and is improving. This is definitely an interesting one to talk about. When you're talking about 13th to 58th.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
Yeah, I think
And
Michael
for
Harris
people
is
who
one
are
of
playing
the
close.
more overpriced players for the past 2 years, including this year, last year.
That's
Mhm.
fun. So we got Colby's.
Yep.
I like Colby's.
And we got pitchers, Colby. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 pitchers, and they were both
Pitches.
rookies.
Oh, both rookies.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
129 over 122.
So what really jumps off the page for me here, I did kind of look at this one as Colby sent it to me. Guy on the right's not a strikeout guy by any means.
Mm-mm.
mm-mm.
But he owns every other metric.
Yep, guy on the left can definitely get more strikeouts. Has a K percentage of 25 and walks less.
Yep.
So this is
They have the same walk percentage though, roughly.
Yeah. This is interesting. Guys that don't strike people out make me nervous.
This is hard. I feel like one of them is Mason Miller.
No. That one, I love the shot. I love the shot. Like Mason Miller. We're going Oakland with it.
Yeah. But 136, 136.
136 innings. He played quite a bit. 23 games, an ERA of 3.83. Is Bobby Miller one of these guys?
No.
I
I
thought
feel like his
Wright could have
WAR
been
was
Bobby
higher.
Miller.
Yeah, I
It
feel
could
like
have
his
been.
WAR might have been higher.
Damn it.
Shit, dude, I'm stumped. I'm stumped looking at this, trying to think of rookies.
Colby,
Hunter
who we
Green's one
got?
of them.
Left is Grayson Rodriguez,
Ooh.
Okay.
and the right is JP France.
Hey,
Oh,
hey, I
wow.
love that.
Yep.
That's
I love that.
crazy.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I could tell that left has better stuff. Like you could
Yep.
just with the
Yeah.
strikeouts, with the K percentage, left can make people miss. Right is more of a just traditional get outs type of guy.
Yep.
I
And
wouldn't have guessed that Grayson Rodriguez had a 25% strikeout rate.
Yep.
That's
I should have asked y'all
that's
who would y'all rather have.
that's pretty good.
I would honestly I would lean left because I just would have a feeling that this guy can really sling it. And this guy is more of a traditional, nothing special, but gets the job done type of guy. And obviously it shows with the wins and the ERA as a
Yeah.
rookie.
I have a hard time going against the WAR in baseball.
Mm.
It's wins over replacement or wins after replacement. So he's
Well, if
1.5
if you're on a
times.
shitty team, you'd have a bad WAR, right?
No, I mean that's the percentage that you're better than your
You're
replacement. So like if you're not starting, so
yeah.
JP was 1.5 times better than if anybody else started in his spot.
That's crazy. That was a really good one.
That was a great one.
And I
Yeah.
imagine that if we looked at the rankings, I imagine Grayson Rodriguez is a lot higher
Oh,
on
absolutely.
the
Yes.
board than JP France.
Yep.
Perfect. All right.
And
So
everybody thinks that guy's going to kill it next year too, Grayson. So, and plus,
Yep.
with the Orioles
oh
and
yeah.
everything.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I
You
mean,
better be learning from Corbin.
he's gonna get paid. He's
You
gonna
better
get. I
be.
mean, someone's paying for him in the salary cap for sure.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
So let's hop into second baseman. If you follow the podcast, every episode we break down, give you some type of top 5 on the position at hand. We went first base last episode. We are on to second baseman today. Colby, do you want to lead it off?
Oh yeah, man. So my top 5 second baseman, I wasn't aware that this guy was the second baseman until earlier today, so I kind of had to shift people around because I saw this guy playing right field, and obviously you guys know who I'm going to say. It's Mookie Betts at number 1. Batted 307, 39 home runs, 107 RBIs, 987
Jeez.
OPS. Holy crap, right? I was telling Chandler earlier, I was like, if you put Mookie at any position, yeah, you're gonna probably put him at 1 because that's just
Yep.
how good he is. He's
Yep.
stolen bases, all that stuff. He comes
Louise.
with everything.
It's like Ronald Acuna as a catcher. Yeah, he's the best in the league.
Yeah, and we're on the metric of
Absolutely.
fantasy, right?
Yeah.
So it's going off batting statistics. So yeah, Mookie all day long.
Mookie at 1.
Second, and I know people are probably gonna say, "Oh, what the hell are you picking that guy for?" Second best second baseman is going to be Jose Altuve.
Let's
He
go, Colby.
just signed the
Let's go,
extension.
man.
He batted 311, 17 home runs, 51 RBIs, 915 OPS. He only batted 360 times. He was hurt. He's not going to get the big numbers because of the injury. So, but
And
he's
like
going to.
Chandler pointed out, his injury wasn't like a lingering knee or something. He broke his thumb.
Yeah, he caught a
So-
pitch with the wrong hand while he was batting.
Yeah.
What's the chances
So-
of that happening again? Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him more bats. He's gonna skyrocket. And I think this will be his best year. This is just my opinion. I think he's gonna have his best year this year.
I love that because Houston loves Altuve. And
Yep.
that's something you go to the ballpark, man. It's just the energy. But
Mm-hmm.
keep sending it, man.
And then third, I got Ozzy Albies. He batted 283, 33 home runs, 109 RBIs, 849 OPS. Dude's a beast. 33 home runs is crazy. Anybody who's over 30s, that's a good bat. And then you got Marcus Semien. He's got 276 on the batting average, 29 home runs, 100 RBIs, 826 OPS. I'm not sure about this guy. I am sure about this guy, but it's a position thing. I don't know if he switched from a position or what, but Luis Arias, he's going to go number 5 for me. Batting average champ. If he
Jeez,
bats,
yeah.
if he bats 3 or 4 times during a game, he's going to get you hit. That's the metric here. 10 home runs. He doesn't have a lot of pop, but he will get you hits. 69 RBIs, 861 OPS. Those are my top 5 badass second basemen. And then I was going to do 3, but I came up with 5. Sorry, guys. of players to
Love it.
watch. I had to move this guy down because of Mookie. Glaber Torres, I got him at my first guy to watch. You got 273 batting average, 25 home runs, 68 RBIs, 800 OPS. That's about as solid of a second baseman as you can get. If he's out there, go for him.
Yep.
He'll definitely fill the shoes. My second will be Xander Bogaerts. We had a little. It's kind of a miscommunication because they have Hassan. What's that guy's name? Hassan Kim.
Kim. Yep.
Him at shortstop, second base. There was a lot of mix-up, but he's going to be the second baseman for the Padres. He's batting 285, 19 home runs, 58 RBIs, and a 790 OPS. He's doing great. I had him a couple years ago, and there's no bad play with him. He's always a good player. And then you got Nico Horner as my other player to watch. 283 batting average, 9 home runs, not a whole lot of home runs, but he's got a good bat. 68 RBIs, 729 OPS. No, my number four will be Ketel Marte. I don't know if that's how you even say his name.
Ketel Marte. Yep.
He may be a bust. I don't know. Just I kind of have a good fit. It's just keep an eye on him. Just it's one of those things like you don't break the bank for him, but keep an eye on him because like he could possibly be a really good freaking second. He is a good second baseman, but everybody talks about Marte like he's just going to be top 2, top 3. I haven't seen it yet. I think he can be good, but it's just one of those guys keep an eye on. 276 batting average, 25 home runs, 82 RBIs, 844 OPS. Those stats scream a good second baseman, but I think he's got more to show. And then my last guy is going to be Brandon Drury. He didn't play as much as he should, but he did have a 262 batting average, 26 home runs, 83 RBIs, and 803 OPS. He only batted, I think, 490 times, I believe. So he didn't get a whole lot of batting, but he did manage 26 home runs. So,
Mr. Utility. If he stays healthy, he's in there every single game, whether it's third, second, or first.
If you find yourself late in the draft and you need a guy that's going to give you bats, home runs, he's definitely the guy. And they probably have him coded for every position besides catcher.
Yep.
But that's a super solid list. I love that so much. I'm going to go second.
Yeah, take it away, B-Money.
Number 1, Zach. No, I'm playing. No, number 1. I got Mookie Betts, man. What can you say? Everything that Colby just said. Dude will cranked almost 40 homers, steals bases, bats over 300. That's my guy. Number 2, and again, my lists are the same every week. There's no rhyme or reason. There's some dudes who I definitely would take over some of these guys, but I don't feel like talking about them. So my 5 is the wild card 5. It's just
episode 1.
It's who I feel like talking about. Okay, number 2, I got Ozzy as well from Atlanta. The thing is, cranks a lot of home runs, good batting average, will steal a good chunk of bases, and similar to the Dodgers, similar to how I kind of have this formula of good players on good teams are never a bad thing. You can always rely on them. Atlanta's going to be really good, and he's going to consistently put up numbers as well as everybody else on that team. So it's just a safe bet going with him. Number 3, I got Ketel Marte. Here's why. I know Colby put him on the outside of the 5. I definitely get that. Here's why. When I was trying to do player perspective this week, I wanted to find a guy who I could kind of get to trick y'all to choose over Ketel Marte. And there's not one. Not one exists. Unless you're going higher than him, which obviously those are guys higher, so it's a moot point. But if you are talking anyone under him that could potentially put out the same volume and give you the same numbers, they don't exist. He is as solid as it gets. Chandler beat me with him every single time I play him. I forget, like he turned into prime shoeless Joe whenever he played me. But I'm going Ketel Marte at 3. Number 4, this one's spicy, but I got Ha-Seong Kim. I do.
Like it. I like it.
He's going to steal a shitload of bags. I honestly think all the projections, I think they have him a little low on home runs. Mind you, he wasn't an everyday guy, and he put up high teens, mid-teens, and home runs. I think he will, playing more, getting more at-bats, I think he could get in the 20s with home runs. I really do. And he's going to steal 20-plus bags, have a great batting average, playing every single day. I love it. I'll take him at 4, and I think you could you could get him for a decent price if you're doing salary cap. And if you're doing live serpentine, you can get him later in the draft. Number 5, Matt McClain. Look,
Ooh.
I'm a Matt McClain guy. He's going to steal bags. He's got great pop, great bat. I think he got brought up a little bit before De La Cruz did, and I think it kind of stole all his shine. I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
Everyone was talking about De La Cruz. It was the shiny new toy. Everyone want to talk. I want to talk about De La Cruz. The dude was phenomenal. We'll talk about exciting players. He's one of them. Matt McClain is more of the, get your hands dirty. He's more of the go to work type of guy. He doesn't look he doesn't look fantastic. He doesn't have a name that's fantastic. He's just a go to work type of guy. And getting called up when he did in the season, he still put up crazy numbers. And I think under a full season, he's going to steal bases. He's going to hit home runs. He's going to get extra base hits. I love Matt McClain on that Cincinnati Reds team, which is also going to be a really good team, I feel, this year. I think they're criminally underrated. And the 2 guys look out for, give me a drum roll. I got Zach Geloff. I'd put him at 1 if it were acceptable. I'm taking Zach Geloff. I'm taking him over. I'm telling you, I'm starting the bidding at 50 for this guy. Look, he's on a terrible team.
Pay 50.
He's on the worst team in the league. That's why no one wants to talk about him. I completely understand it. But he has great pop on his bat. He got a little strikeout heavy towards the end of the year, but you're playing in Oakland. Who gives a shit? No one's paying attention. So I think this year he's going to have a very powerful bat. Also, he's going to steal 20 bags, which is amazing. And that's always great extra points if you're looking at it from a fantasy standpoint. I think his average is nothing to worry about. He's going to steal bags, extra base hits, home runs. He is that team. And I think they need to surround all the attention needs to be on him. I think we can't let Zach Geloff die in Oakland. We can't let the hype die down. We have to give him our support. So I'm taking Zach Geloff. I'm telling you, I'm starting the bidding at 50, and I'm taking him home. And then the other guy I would look out for, if you're towards the end of your draft, salary cap or live serpentine, and you need a dude who's going to give you home runs, Nolan Gorman for St. Louis. I streamed him last year, and he is due for a couple home runs a week, right? Like he's incredible. He's phenomenal as a platoon guy. He's not going to play every single day, but with this St. Louis team and him being so young, maybe they lean more towards age and youth whenever we talk about the youngsters playing in St. Louis. Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, these are guys that need to get bats so that they can progress. You saw what he can do in limited time, cranking near 30. I'm telling you, Nolan Gorman, that's a guy you can get probably for nothing if you're doing salary cap, or you can pick him super late and he's going to get you some pop late in the draft. I got
his
Nolan
bat
Gorman.
Is damn near the size that he is, man. That guy swings a freaking tree trunk. It is insane.
Yep. So Chandler, this is your spot. You know what to do.
Let's go, man. Undeniably number 1 second baseman. He'll be there all year long. Mookie Betts. Hard to go against him. They've got him projected for 132 runs. I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes 150. It's going to be a competition all the way down between Atlanta and Dodgers for most runs scored throughout the season. The 2 guys leading the charge, Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna Jr. I again look for Mookie with Ohtani behind him now, strictly hitting, not having to worry about any other sort of workload but swinging the bat. He's going to get driven in more than any other player in the league. Coming in number 2, I'm a big fan of what he did at year 2 on the Texas team, Marcus Semien. I think that he only builds off of it. My guy is consistent. He'll consistently be in the 2-hole. He'll consistently hit you home runs when you need it or doubles when you don't. He doesn't strike out a lot. The average is there. I just think that he feels even more at home this year than last year, and I'm excited to see what he puts up. Number 3, Ozzie Albies. Similar situation to the 2 that I just spoke about. Toss on the fact that this guy is a switch hitter and on one of the most explosive offenses in the MLB. We'll see if he hits 2, 3, or 6 hole just moving forward, but he'll be in there every single day. He will not miss a game unless he's injured, which aren't really an issue, or injuries aren't really an issue for this guy. Coming at number 4, I love the hype coming from Colby, putting him a little bit higher than what I've got right now, but Jose Altuve, got to show the Astros some love. That's another guy that swings a stick that's bigger than he is, swinging an actual piece of tree around, hitting homers. He's got a beneficial park to hit in. He loves that left field wall. And my goodness, it's almost like he entirely reacts to the crowd. And if it's hype, he's hype and he's going to crush it. If it's not hype, he'll make it hype and then he'll crush it after that. Coming in number 5, Luis Ariz. Just hard to go against the batting champ, hard to go against his average, hard to go against how often he just puts contact on the ball and how few times he strikes out. It's unreal that this guy has more walks than strikeouts. Just insane. Y'all know I like to keep an eye on outside the top 10. My patient zero, number 10 for this instance, is Jeff McNeil. We won't talk about him with the New York Mets. Number 1 to keep an eye on, Matt McClain. I love what Brandon was saying. I can't put him in my top 5. We might put him at like 8 or 9 or so. Big expectations for this Reds offense. They might give up a lot of runs from their pitching staff. Their defense might not be polished off with trying to figure out where guys like Ellie fall into place, and Matt McClain, if he is going to end up at second or short, what have you. Same thing, Spencer Steer. They're trying to get him more outfield reps. Defense might struggle. Offense should be prolific and incredibly exciting to watch. And he's going to hit in the heart of that lineup. And I'm stoked. I'm stoked for that guy. And I think he'll stay healthy through a season, give him that sophomore year, come back even stronger. Zach Geloff, second guy to watch outside the top 10.
Boy,
he's a 20 for 20 guy. I had him last year. I had him towards the end of the season last year after he got brought up and started cranking homers almost every other at bat. I think he just wants to play. I think he's excited to get out there and hit out of the 2-hole. And how can you not be when your team sucks and they're not likely going to drive you in? So you just got to do everything you can to drive yourself in, whether that's homers or steals. Like I was saying, 20 for 20 guy, easy. Third guy to keep an eye out for, Jorge Polanco. He had some injuries. He always has some injuries, but a switch hitter for the Mariners, new team, Seattle, instead of Minnesota. If he's healthy, he will be in there every single day. If he's not healthy, he's actually somebody that I rode last year in my IL spot. And then every time he was healthy, I'd kick somebody to the curb to let him play because he's consistently a 4.2 to 4.5 average a day guy. Keep an eye on him. Again, stash him. Don't pay big money for him by any means. Grab him. If he plays, play him. If he's out, hang on to him and always play him whenever he's healthy because he will always be in that lineup, especially being a switch hitter. Y'all know I like to come in with a hot flop and a hot gem for the season for each position. For second base, I don't really have a flop, right? Nobody's going to shit the bed. Nobody's going to come in incredibly underwhelming. I just have a warning. My warning is for Ketel Marte with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think that he's worth the 16 to 18 that he's being projected for in salary cap leagues. I would be incredibly cautious to draft him at that price because of his injury history. I think the Diamondbacks did a fantastic job of managing his workload last year, which is the only reason he didn't have 600 at-bats and also the only reason he wasn't really injured last year. So if you're looking at the 520 to 540 at-bat range, I think he performed perfectly for that level of opportunity that he got. But we don't know how they're going to move forward with this guy. We don't know if he turns into a literal everyday player or if he gets a day off every 3 games. We hope for the latter just to maintain his health. But if the former happens, don't be surprised when he only gets 450 at bats because he's hurt for a good portion of the season. My gem for the season, and he's only listed as a shortstop right now. I know Brandon hit Ha-Seong Kim. I know Colby hit Xander Bogaerts already, but it is Xander Bogaerts. I think that he's going to have a similar second season with San Diego as Marcus Semien had with the Texas Rangers. Finally got his legs underneath him. Finally has an open path to do exactly what he wants to do. Not necessarily needs to be a team player in the batting position, can really play for himself, can really hit the ball for himself. And then no jitters. Really, the only name you've got over you at this point in time is Fernando Tatis. You can look at Manny Machado at third base, but he's kind of fallen over the years. And so if you're looking for a 1-2 punch, you got Tatis and you got Bogaerts. And I think this guy takes it in stride and really shows us what he's capable of. So keep an eye out on Bogaerts. I think he's going for like $8 right now, which is criminally underrated considering what he went for last year, like close to 22 or something like that. Well worth the $8 and he'll pay off for you all season long. But that's me. That's me for second base today.
If I could have made every player Zach Geloff, I would have. But you know, then
Absolutely.
that's not great content. Then you
Yeah.
know,
I think that was
but
great content.
dude, if I could draft him twice, I would. But
Well, you can pay 50 for him and be happy about it.
I'm paying. You don't underestimate me on draft day.
Yeah.
Everything's a ploy. Everything's a plan.
I'm gonna
But
nominate him for 49, and if you don't put in 50,
you're sticking with him.
no, you better take him. I'm gonna have a
No.
bone to pick.
No,
I'm gonna have a bone to
I'm
pick.
gonna have a bone to pick. Okay,
Was he
that's
called
perfect.
up or what?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
he played
he
all.
came.
I mean,
Yep.
he
I don't
came
know a whole
in.
lot about him.
I don't think he was there from day one last year, but he got called up kind of mid, maybe early mid, and dude was cranking them.
Only
And like,
270 at bats. So yeah, after the All-Star break.
okay, so
And he just killed it.
Dude, I'm about to pull him up right now. Hold on, don't play
Yeah,
with me.
267 average, 20 doubles, 14 home runs, 1 triple, 32 RBIs, 14 stolen bases.
He's projected to hit 256,
Lots of
which
strikeouts.
20 home runs, 58 RBIs, 23 steals. So they have him projected to be a 2020 guy. And he's just on a shit team. That's the only thing.
Yeah, 82 strikeouts last year over where'd he go? How many at bats did I just say? 270.
270?
So
yeah,
quite a bit. He'll have to figure that one out, but he's got it. He's got all the tools.
How many at bats did Glaber get and Ketel get? That's what I want to know.
Ketel got a decent amount. 569 last year.
Ketel?
Yep.
569.
Glaber got.
Let me find Glaber. I know we're coming to the end of the pod here.
596.
Yeah, 590. So more. Yeah, Glaber was an everyday guy. Easily.
Yeah, so like their stats are very close.
Yeah.
So like Ketel was batting 276, Glaber was at a 273. They had the same amount of home runs. Glaber had 68 RBIs and Ketel had 82 RBIs.
So Glaber's about to lose his 2 spot since Juan Soto's there. It's going to be DJ LeMahieu, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and then either Glaber or
so he'd be a 6 or
Juan Carlo.
7.
Yeah, Juan Carlo. So he's either going to be a 4 or 5 guy, which I think is huge for his RBI production.
Who, Glaber's going to be a 4 or 5 guy?
Yeah. Yeah, he will be.
Because you got LeMahieu, Soto, Judge. I mean, so I guess Judge Soto.
No, Soto Judge for sure.
Soto Judge. Because I know Judge was in the 2 spot last year.
Apparently he's been asking for the 3 hole for the last 3 years. And they haven't had a good reason to do so because Soto's always hit out of the 2 hole.
Then at 4,
kind of spot.
Do you go with a slim down Juan Carlos Stanton and then Glaber, or do you go Glaber then Juan Carlo? I don't know if y'all saw the thing. He showed up to camp slim, like look lost.
Stanton did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
like too many drugs slim or like cut down some extra weight slim?
We're gonna hope that one because
Right.
I don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, well, he had a shit last season between injuries and strikeouts, and it was.
Y'all see the video of him rounding the bases?
Bad.
Y'all see the video of him rounding the bases? Like he doesn't move. Yeah, he can't move.
Incredibly slow. Yeah,
Like,
the dude is just a brick.
He's walking out there.
Yep,
it's like he's hoping for home runs just so he didn't have to.
Exactly,
dude. The third base coach is waving him home, and he's like, "I can't make it, coach.
Yeah.
I can't do it."
I think you put a guy like that either in the 6 hole or the 8 hole. And I know that those are kind of strange numbers. 8 hole, particularly because you have the opportunity to clear the bases before your ones come back up again. 6 hole, I think that he'll just have more RBI chances. But I hope Gleyber Torres goes to the 4 hole. I would love to see a second baseman in the 4 hole. He'll likely go to the 5 hole, but I would love to see him in the 4 hole, especially with those 3 hitting in front of him. My guy can bunt and score. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm as of right now, I'm a believer in that Yankees team. I think they got something special brewing up. Especially sign my boy Blake Snell. I keep reading the report that they're still engaged and they're still talking. I need Blake Snell to sign somewhere, so I can stop being so nervous heading into draft. Because I kept him, he's on my team, but he's not on a team. So
it's so hard because it almost seems like MLB teams have a criteria that they follow. And like as soon as they get one decent left-handed pitcher for their starting rotation, they're like, why would we pursue a second one? Right. And so they've got Carlos Rodon. He's due for a comeback season. But like, in my opinion, I'd love to have 3 righties and 2 lefties in my 5-man rotation. I think that'd be fantastic. And for them to not heavily pursue Snell, obviously it's coming in a little shy. But if you can't get Snell for the price that you want, just go to Jordan Montgomery and get him for the price that you want. Like those are 2 outstanding individuals that can add to any bullpen.
Yep.
And the Astros are, I mean, I only say this as a fan, but we've only got Framber. I just don't think one lefty is enough, personally.
I respect it. All right. Anybody have anything near and dear to their hearts that they want to share?
Yeah, I want to know what you guys what else y'all had on y'all's most exciting players. I just want to know.
That was it. I gave you my 6.
Yeah.
That was it?
Yep.
Yeah, I had Shaq.
Okay.
I had Shaq remaining, and yeah, I think that's really Shaq. And then because y'all took 2, I had Deion Sanders and I had Vince Young, which were taken. But yeah, I just had Shaq. Oh, and Chris Johnson, CJ2K. That was the only 2 that were remaining or were not stolen from me.
Technically, John Daly was in my 4 hole, but I kicked him to 6 so I could get Andre Agassi in there.
Who you got, Colby?
I had Aaron Foster, Tom Brady, Tracy McGrady.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ed Reed.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Ray
of
Lewis,
a defensive
though.
player. I was
Ray
thinking
Lewis, though.
that
Ray
didn't even
Lewis.
cross my mind. I'm trash.
Peyton
Let's
Manning.
redo it. Reshoot the whole thing.
Redo it.
Yeah, start over.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh,
Brian Westbrook. Ted Ginn Jr. and then Sam McGuffey.
Dude,
I was very proud of that. That's why I wanted to say
Westbrook is
Sam
great.
McGuffey.
I'm a big Dawkins fan.
Brian Dawkins was a madman.
Yeah. And then why is his name eluding me? His first name is pretty sure it's John. Now he's the GM for the Denver Broncos.
John
Lynch.
Thank you. That guy. Those are 3 defensive players that I could have.
I was trying to think of a defensive player, but for some reason I was blanking. That was a good one.
Yeah, Ed Reed was fun to watch.
Oh, he's so much fun to watch.
I think it's time to call it a pod. Great episode.
Yeah, I think we did good cutting down time a little bit.
Absolutely. Yep. So this is the Wide 80 podcast. We're glad to be here. We love talking sports and stuff, and we'll see you next week.